us.
Thank you, Carrie.
Yeah, I wanted to say also, well, am I on or off here? I can't tell.
You're on.
Now you're off.
Now you're off.
I know I'm off. That's not news. But anyway, I loved that you showed us the words. I think that was great, David. It was wonderful to actually see the words you were reading. I just love that. And also your voice, too, I must say.
Thank you. Yeah, I think seeing the words helps focus you away from, shopping lists and things like that, where my mind usually goes when I hear people read. Well, I'm sure glad I came.
Well, we're certainly honored to have you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I think you cast the spell, David.
It's an honor.
And again, I mean, hearing the readings were fantastic. I wish we had the words to go with the audio, but I'll be sure to make sure we get sent out the link to the audio recording from this. And you want to listen back to it to your heart's content, please do so and enjoy. Well, I think without ado, we move into the open mic section. By just show of hands, just hold them up for a second. How many people do we have that have something that they would like to read? 1, 2, 3. Okay, got about 6 or 7 people. That's great. All right, I'm picking on someone first, and then we'll just roll into it from there. Jennifer, would you like to start us off?
Sure, I would love that. Let me just open the right screen. And sorry, just a second.
While she's doing that, let me just take a second to say I'm being called, so I have to leave, but I'm really so happy I was able to join you and hear that tonight. Wonderful, wonderful words, David, and you are beautiful, and eventually you will get those published, I'm sure. I really have no doubt about it. And
my book's coming out in April.
Well, okay, then you'll have more published, I'm sure. Anyway, thank you all, and I'm going to join again on next time. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, I'm ready. This is called Diamondia, which is a type of plant. It's ground cover. And my mom has it in her front yard. So, Diamondia. The silver leaf is turning green again. Water like manna from heaven. Each feather-like head, once tucked in shame, rises up cobra-like, ready to strike, then eases back down into the mulch, having subsided to the other side. It's the changing of the guard, the charging trumpet of the herald, but pianissimo, like rain, like the earth stroking, each reaching hand, like a mother soothing a child. There will be enough, she whispers. I will provide for you. Tracing lines in the baby's palm, your future is safe, tranquissimo. And the melody trails off into the future. And the silver leaf, hungry and afraid, shifts into the lush opulence of grain, of the half-full baby bottle, and a child ready to birth. There will be enough, she whispers. Trust me, I will provide. Thanks.
Wonderful, Jennifer. Now I'm going to have to remember who had all those hands up, and the tiles on my screen have changed, so that's always fun. Anyone who would like to go next?
Okay, yeah.
Yes, please.
Now, can you hear me?
Yes, we hear you just fine.
Okay, yeah, this is my problem. I'm trying to finish this. Whoops. I just left by mistake. How can I get this back? Oh, what do I do?
You're still here.
You're on.
I
We
know.
can see you.
I screwed up my screen, though. Oh, here we go. Okay. Yeah, I wanted very much to write something about the wonderful blooming of the Bradford pear. That's usually one of the first trees to blossom when our very early spring comes in Southern California. But I simply didn't have time. So I'm going to read one I wrote a long time ago, not too long after I think I moved out here. And I was just amazed by how early spring comes compared to back east. This one was called Mid-January. Almond trees in early bloom, pale pink blossoms tipped with rose, tear-shaped petals, lacy with raindrops, fall silently, light as feathers, rough trunks soaked dark with days of rain. Down by the post office, delicate clusters of tiny white flowers, the Bradford pear in wedding dress. My neighbor, a native Californian, tells me, you should see the Central Valley when the pecans bloom. Thank you. And sadly, that neighbor is gone. He passed away several years ago, but he was just a wonderful old guy. He lived next door. He was always helping me out with my house. I miss him very much.
Who would like to go next? Oh,
okay.
I saw Jeanette. Oh, no, Ron, go for it.
This is not a botanical poem. It's actually one of my darker kind of poems. It's I wrote after hosting a series of readings and had a problem. It's called Broken Poet. In the middle of the medical school museum, among the two-headed babies and oversized genitalia, a poet. I put quarters in and push recite. The poet shrugs. I check the ballast, make sure it's plugged in. On the back, a switch that says off, onomatopoeia, Oslo. Set to Oslo. I reset to onomatopoeia, let some air out, check the altimeter and microtone. Still nothing. People gather. An older gentleman carries a little flashlight on his keychain with his paradox. We peer into the mouth, see nothing but moths. Nothing that should affect the poet's writing. A woman offers, when our philately machine freezes up, kicking the damn thing helps. So I kick the poet, nothing. Everyone takes a turn kicking. Doesn't do anything, but it feels good. We all kick some more. We shake it side to side, back and forth. The mouth moves. It opens its eyes, starts to speak. It's just an unimpressive bio. Poems published in Cartography Today, Fondue Update, and Hair Removal Quarterly. It opens a book, begins to read, wordlessly. I leave a note, broken. I kick it once more and go look for the giant penises. Thank you.
Oh, that was great.
I want to go next.
You paint quite the picture. Jeanette, you had put your hand up at the same time. Why don't we go to you, please?
Okay. Thank you. This is called Investigation. When the attack comes, none of us are there. The ewe must have been terrified and made whatever cries sheep make when faced with a violent death. Not the irregular baa or the guttural sound a mother makes when calling her newborn lamb. Tufts hang on the barbed wire behind the feeding trough. She turned, ran, and went down twice, as witnessed by a pattern left on flattened grass. More clumps on the border where she finally succumbs, unable to jump that last fence. The predator dragged her to ground and underneath, leaving half her bones on each side, rib cage up. I count 11 mama sheep. There should be 12. Next day, the hired man, David, and I walk opposite directions along the property line looking for a carcass. He sees something down the slope near where we cross paths. The skeleton is picked clean, probably by vultures. Mountain lion, he says. I imagine the creature climbing an oak and landing softly in the brush, ravenous. David agrees to gather the remains into a plastic garbage bag and dispose of them. When I walk by later, the site is mostly cleared, except for bits of fleece, the twisted strands still caught.
Thank you, Jeanette. Who would like to go next? There we go. Elizabeth, you raised first, and then Mary will go to you.
All right. This is titled 3. 3 years ago, you took your wedding ring off, commencing our undefined association. 3 weeks, sheltering in place, became 1 year and 3 months, relationship forged by phone. 3 months, fully vaccinated, we danced in person around our friendship. 3 months later, 3 hours into a dinner I made from scratch, you took 3 minutes to break my heart. It had been time enough for you to find another to love. 3 weeks passed, relinquishing faded flowers from what became our last date. I cried 3 words. Goodbye, my hope.
Thank you, Elizabeth. Mary, please, and just make sure you take yourself off mute. We're not hearing you.
Okay, now you hear me, right?
Yes, you're just a little quiet.
Oh, okay. Talk louder. All right. December bodies. White pelicans in the estuary bless the shallow Ventura River with their stillness before it disappears into sun-swept Pacific. Then it's gone, the little river of amazements, curved through sand swallowed by sea, waves roll over a last thin swerve of water where fresh meets salt. A ribbon of gulls skimming those waves like foam once white in the morning sun, brushed with pink at sunset. And there on what's left of sand, one figure looking hunched driftwood or the lifeless body of a seal holding on to this bit of earth. 30 white pelicans, shore watchers, dropped like snow, reminding me of Christmas in my below-zero childhood, near the radiator. My mother dressing under her nightgown in front of the grate. Seeing her heavy breasts, I feared for my own bird's slender body. White pelicans floating in place, resting on sandbar, frenetic gulls all around them. Their soft whiteness suggests falling petals of the winter rose, called moonstone. Snow on the distant mountains, visited by the moon. Thanks.
Thank you, Mary. Thank you, Mary. Sorry, I was on mute myself. I didn't have anybody that had their hand up after, so I'm not sure who to go to next. So is anybody willing to?
Perry just said she would go.
Great, please.
Well, it's a poem I just felt like reading this poem. I'm getting a visit from my granddaughters tomorrow, and it's been hard to see them during the pandemic. They live in town, but you know how it's been. So I arranged that we would have a walk, and the oldest is 16, and she just got her driver's license. And so that we're going to do some poetry, and she asked if I would read that poem again I wrote a long time ago. So I haven't read it for a long time, so I'm going to read it. Fish story. A fish is catching a man in a book I'm reading to my granddaughters, who giggle, "That can't be." I'm reminded of the day he plucked me limp from a roguish wave, sputtering salt, slapped me on my back, and when I opened my eyes to the hook of his gaze.